Hey, what's up? This is Andrew Garfield here. Since it's now the end of 2017, it seems like the perfect time to start talking about 2018. This video is not so much my predictions, more like things I would like to see or things I would find interesting for 2018 and beyond. So that's it. Here we go. First thing is the idea of deconstruction. Now, deconstructed clothes and sneakers and stuff in fashion is not really anything new. However, this whole idea got brought to the forefront a lot more in 2017 with Off-White Nike collab. All of these shoes in the 10, as they called them, with the quote marks, they were all reimagined with this sort of work in progress, unfinished kind of look. In a way that references the design process much more than any shoe that you would normally buy. And I think that's, it looks really cool for one thing, and I think it makes people consider that design process and that creation process of shoes and clothes and fashion and stuff more than they ordinarily would be, because of course, most of the time you're just presented with that complete product to enjoy. Adidas also did this to some extent with their Alexander Wang collab. They did some sort of deconstructed looking sneakers, although these didn't really seem to kind of sell as well or be as much of a hit. But I didn't really see this sort of thing translate into clothing. The closest thing that I can think is the Junya Watanabe North Face things, where there was kind of like some different material patches and like enlarged logos that were sort of cut off, which kind of had some sort of resemblance to this kind of idea, but not really quite the sort of thing that I'm thinking of. So I think it would be nice to see some more clothing that experiments with these kind of ideas, like stitched on logos maybe, kind of cut lines, very visible darts that show the way that material is kind of like moved and positioned in different ways. Maybe like some kind of feature with like markings that indicate that it's been moved from one position to another. I don't know, I'm not a designer, but that's just some kind of vague ideas that I have. The second thing is colour, which sounds very broad in general, but I'm specifically referring to colour in techwear. So as we all know, techwear very much has a reputation for being very black heavy or even all black. And kind of like military or neutral tones, sort of like olive and that kind of thing, but not that much sort of bright or vibrant colours. Now this is changing a little bit to some extent with the acronym Presto's the Vault ones in 2016. Last year, well this year rather, very recently we had ACG come out with their stuff, which had a lot of different coloured things going on. But traditionally more colourful technical fashion has been the playground of brands like the North Face, Patagonia, Arc'teryx, those more sort of like outdoor, hiker-ready type brands, which don't necessarily have the aesthetic that a lot of people are after with techwear. So it would be cool for those two sorts of things to come together a little bit more, to see more bright, vibrant sort of pops of colour in a way that is still quite versatile. I think the problem with the ACG stuff is that, yeah, it looks good with other ACG stuff, but then it can be quite difficult to work that into people's existing wardrobes. So yeah, I would very much like to see kind of vibrant pops of colour in amongst those black things in a way which still has some kind of versatility, and you can kind of mix and match things a little bit. And it just brings a bit of variety as well. I think people probably get fatigued looking at kind of all black and olivey sort of techwear fits. And people probably get fatigued with wearing those same palettes all the time. So just to mix it up a bit, I think that would be really good. Number 3 is more tasteful hype. Now, I'm not going to be that guy that's like, oh guys, hypebeast culture so bad, am I right? As if like I'm super woke and like so brave for standing out against hypebeasts or whatever. However, I think that there's balance in all things, and I feel like recently there's been a bit of a trend towards just like stacking expensive and hyped brands and pieces into the same outfit and sort of like making that seem like it's the pinnacle of fashion. And I think the people that behave in this way are very preoccupied with the costs of things and like flexing how much money they're spending as opposed to like what the things look like themselves. And I don't really sort of like that attitude. So what's my solution to this? I'm not saying that everyone should go and burn all their Bape and their Supreme, whatever. But if you like those kinds of items of clothing, which is totally fine, then I would like to see more of people working those into an outfit in a way that kind of like makes them look as good as possible and shows off those things rather than just sort of mindlessly stacking them. I feel like with those hyped pieces, you want other things that can like accentuate it and draw attention to it, quite minimal things, so then, you know, your little hype flex piece, that stands out a bit more. Whereas if everything is like that, then it makes it a little bit too much on the eyes, you know? 2017 has definitely been the year of the dad shoe, and now it feels like everyone and their dad is wearing big chunky shoes from high fashion brands like Raf Simons, Yeezy, Balenciaga, Zara. Although I have no issue with these kinds of oversized silhouettes suddenly becoming popular, personally I've always had a preference for more sort of form-fitting things. So the first pair of like expensive or expensive-ish trainers I ever bought were Flyknit racers, and since then I've kind of always liked that sort of shape. So things like sock racers, Flyknit Magistas, Prestos, Y3 retro boosts, all that sort of thing. I think it would be interesting for the same high-end brands who are currently putting out those super chunky, oversized silhouettes and footwear to suddenly switch up and then to do these much closer fitting, sort of slimline, much sleeker kind of things as a sort of subversion or as an answer to those chunkier things. I know Balenciaga had the Speed Trainer, which is kind of along the lines of what I'm talking about here, but something with a less chunky sole and with a bit more going on the upper than just a sock. Anyway, when there's such a strong trend as the current dad sneaker silhouette, it's only a matter of time before designers start wanting to subvert that and do the opposite. So it's very possible that as early as 2018, we'll start seeing some super kind of slimline, very sleek looking high-end silhouettes. My number 5 is casual techwear. Now that doesn't really sound very cool, so I will explain myself a little bit. I kind of mean two things by this. Number 1 is incorporating clothing that has a kind of techwear aesthetic into other styles or more sort of streetwear fits. And the second thing is clothing more typically associated with streetwear being given or imbued with some kind of techwear performance. Brands like Aleeks have come up very recently with things like their chest harness and their roller coaster belt, both of which have some pretty strong, pretty noticeable connections to techwear, and yet are presented and worn in more of a streetwear context. We've had the Gore-Tex NMDs, which carry that Gore-Tex branding on the side and have kind of technical performance and that they're water resistant, and we've had North Face lending their branding to the Vans old school MTE version, which is their sort of weatherproof version of the old school, but now with the endorsement, if you like, of that technical outerwear brand stamped on the back. You could even make the argument that North Face Supreme collabs help to bring that technical outerwear performance over to the typical streetwear crowd. Now, I know some people are kind of techwear purists and they think that all this stuff should be kept totally separate, but personally I think it's cool to see techwear like being used as inspiration from other things, and for people to want to incorporate those sort of techwear styles and features into more standard streetwear fits. Even if people don't necessarily want to go full tech ninja, I still think it's cool that people are wanting to get behind that sort of aesthetic and make some kind of investment in it. And let's be honest, it's not that easy to assemble a whole techwear wardrobe in one go due to the traditionally high costs of these sorts of things. So if people do feel enabled and people feel comfortable with the idea of buying kind of like one or two techwear things at once and then incorporating that into their current wardrobe in a way that kind of suits them and they think that it looks good, then I don't think that's a bad thing at all. So those were some ideas from me, some things that I would like to see more of going forwards into 2018 as we say goodbye, sadly, to 2017. But let me know what you guys think of these, if you agree with some of my kind of suggestions or if there's anything that you think I've missed. And of course the whole opposite, which I haven't really talked about, is what sort of things would you like to see the back of in 2017 and to never ever see ever again. If you enjoyed the video, do by all means give it a like, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Shout out to Impact Kings. Maybe it's finally time to set up a spin-off ASMR channel. And shout out to the drunk robot who asked what I thought of the Air Mock Tech Fleece. I think they look super cozy. I'm sure they're definitely very comfortable. But I'm not really sure how comfortable I would feel about wearing them outdoors, just because they do look so much like slippers. They don't really have any kind of like structure or anything about them. I'm probably wasting my time doing this because I've forgotten to do it for the last couple of videos now, but maybe there will be videos going up there that you can watch. And if you haven't subscribed, but you want to do so, and you haven't clicked that button down there already, then there's a very small chance that I'll remember to put the button there, and then you can click on that one instead.